Yeah. So, so we are live. So you can hear me, Arunima, Rishika?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes. So, very happy World Turtle Day to both of you.
and to you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, I'll start off with Arunima as our name starts with A. So,
Yeah.
Arunima, tell me what today you from TSA you had some program, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the program that you did?
So this morning we have started a session, a small tour of the Kukrel Gharial Rehabilitation Center, and we were live with the turtles, and we have shown some feeding sessions also. After that, there was big event. It was launch of app which is Kurma, and which I will leave to Rishika to explain more about that because
Yes.
she really worked hard for that. And
Yes.
so yeah, apart from that, we have there was the opening of a book which is rescue manual. So we worked on that, and it's in Hindi, and it's for frontline forest staff. Apart from that, we have there was one small pamphlet on turtles of Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
So there was uh, three, four resource material. We have there was PCC of wildlife came, and we have launched that resource material today. Yeah.
So, welcome, Rashmi. So, Rashmi,
Sorry
if
for being.
you no problem. So, Rashmi, if you can just sit because the light is at behind you. There is a glare. Okay. So yeah. Yes. So, what I wanted to go to Arunima that
Yeah.
you told about this, and before I go on to Rishika and discuss about Kurma, I wanted to know, like, basically that when you started your when you joined like TSA and what, because it's a very tough job for searching around and working for Turtle, and when did you join, and we'll discuss it later, the later part, but when did you join and what interested you on Turtles?
Okay, so I have joined fully Turtle Survival Alliance in
Hmm.
2013, July 2013, and before
Hmm.
that, I used to work with TSA, not TSA, but I used to work with the D Basu. I think you will be knowing about. Everyone know about the Dhruvi Jyoti Basu. So I met with Shai sir, who is the person who encouraged me. So I used to go Kukral Gharial Rehabilitation Center, and where I met with D Basu, and who gave me all his research papers and resource material to short it. So what I did, uh, I used to go to his house and all the collection and books. So I used to look that and going Kukral, and these things like developed my interest. So yeah,
Okay.
that
So
was the main.
I'll come back to you again, but in the meantime, I'll go to Rishika. And hi, Rishika.
Hi.
Acha, Rishika, tell me, just because today that we are our main emphasis apart from turtles, we are also talking about woman force, because that is a big thing that I believe, it's my own perspective that in conservation I believe women, without any biasness, but I believe that women would be more having more, because by biology women are more emotional, so they will have that more attachment and can, I believe, in that way, like a mother figure for the woman, as to say. So why and what interested you to come to that, as I asked Arunima, what interested you in turtle, and also you need to tell a very basic about Kurma, and in the second half we will again take on the details of Kurma.
Okay, so I'll start with your first question, which is to do with how I did not find turtles. Turtles kind of found me. So
Yes.
I was actually studying abroad, and I came back in 2016, and I was
Hmm.
just looking for jobs. So I was just applying, and then I came across TSA's application. So so I applied, and then I interviewed with Dr. Shailendra Singh,
Hmm.
and I got selected somehow.
So
And that's how I sort of came into TSA. So I wasn't really, I was in the field. So I've done, like my background was with biological sciences, but I wasn't in the field of conservation or like directly. I was obviously interested in conservation, and I wanted to work with animals in research. And basically turtles found me.
So it's a good romantic story that you both found each other. So
Yeah.
so after 2016, that your soulmate or so part of your life as of now found you. So how do you see turtles now and before when you joined TSA? What is the difference of perspective that you see and between yeah.
I think what's interesting is my perspective is exactly the same as everyone we experience every day, which is a lot of people don't know about freshwater turtles, and a lot of people are
Hmm.
more familiar with marine turtles. So, again,
Hmm.
I was also one of those people who was
Hmm.
more aware of marine turtles and work that was done with marine turtles and
Hmm.
their sort of conservation programs.
Hmm.
A friend of mine had sort of done some volunteering work during university, so I knew about that through him as well.
Hmm.
And so after joining, my interest has sort of definitely built up, and it just keeps growing every year. I just keep learning more things. Sometimes I talk to you, and then I get sucked in as well, and I can learn a lot more things. So what we discussed, like,
Hmm.
a few days back, and I'm still talking about it in the office if you ask anyone.
Hmm.
Um,
So
I'm
yeah.
still discussing cyclamis. So it's building, and then I think that perspective has been really helpful, because when people come and say, why freshwater turtles, so why, and or immediately start talking about marine, I was like, no, I was one of you, but I have been educated, and I can now pass that on.
Hmm. So after that we'll move on to Rashmi a bit and get her input regarding the whole thing. So Rashmi's mic, can you unmute Rashmi? You need to unmute your mic. Somewhere there, your mic is muted. You just click at the left side. Rashmi, your mic is muted, so you just need to. I cannot hear you if you say, in fact. So you just need to go to the left hand side where there is a mic logo. You just need to unmute it. Okay. So maybe Rashmi will again uh, join back. So Rishika, before we go on to discuss in great details about Kurma, so just give us a very basic idea about what Kurma is basically. Is it app or
Yeah, so it's an app. So it's a mobile application that was developed as part of a larger citizen science program under the Indian Turtle Conservation Action Network, or ITCAN.
hmm,
And it's a multi-pronged approach to, just changing and modernizing and revolutionizing freshwater turtle research right now in India,
hmm,
because,
hmm,
as you know, there's very few people who work exclusively on freshwater turtles, but
hmm,
we increasingly experience people who are aware of them, especially in the north and northeast areas, who,
hmm,
live along the Ganga and Brahmaputra plains, who know about turtles and want to get involved, but just don't have a platform for it.
hmm,
So the Citizen Science Initiative was sort of launched, and under that, Kurm is an
hmm,
app, a mobile app that was developed to just provide a digital platform for these people, common citizens and enforcement agencies and students and
hmm,
hobbyists, and everyone. It's open to all. It's free for all, and
hmm,
everyone can come in and then learn more about turtles, but also actively contribute to the science and research of it through just data collection or uploading
Correct.
pictures or
Correct.
talking to experts.
Correct. So I'll go to Arunima and ask her about what she thinks about impact. What would be the impact of citizen science in conservation, or just a very brief account of what would be the impact? Like nowadays, citizen science is on high or in rise. So there are many portals which are doing excellent service, and there are new records, geographic records, even new species are being discovered through citizen science that I know of. So can Arunima just give throw a bit of light on what she thinks about citizen science?
Yeah. So what I feel it's really important nowadays, because and it's a good opportunity for everyone. So now with this app, so we will be able.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Tell.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So with the help of this app, so we'll be able to collect more data from um, general people who are not like, they will be able to involve in conservation field, and they will be able to more understand. They will be able to understand more about the turtle and tortoises. Yeah.
Correct. So our two of our new member that they joined recent now only to the live. So one is Sriparna, and hi Sriparna, and then Rashmi. So I'll come to Sriparna, but before that I want to go to Rashmi and ask her first that if her technical thing has been resolved.
Yeah. Actually, there was like a network issue. I don't know what was happening at that time.
Okay. So we yeah. So Rashmi, tell me a bit about your journey with TSA.
Well, I started with my graduation as in BSc Forestry, but you can say I changed my career to, you can say, business studies, and then I was like doing the business thing and all, and I was more importantly in HR before, and then I saw an advertisement of some kind of forest and wildlife work, and I don't know, I just applied at that moment from some source,
Hmm.
and then, but there was, because of my graduation in forestry, there was a spark of being an not wildlifer, but to work as in the field of wildlife. So I applied there, and fortunately, I got the chance to like show myself what I am, and then I started as an you can say admin officer, come an office manager, and my work is basically here as different from before. Like I was HR, and here I work as a wholesale admin, from the papers to hiring and everything. So
Okay.
it was like little bit complicated, not more scientific, but I take care of every paper which goes out from here.
So great, and you have to keep calling people for many reasons.
Many
So
reasons, yes.
yes,
So I'm a big, you can
yeah.
say, I put notes on it everywhere, wherever it
Okay.
is important.
So it's really very important, because logistic is one thing that most of, for example, for me, who is messed up fellow, so somebody is needed to be, keep things in place. So Sriparna, I'll go on to you and ask you, like, before that I need to unmute you, yeah, and then ask you, like, when did you join, and how you are associated with TSA.
So I did my dissertation during 2018 with TSA. At that time, I was in my MSc. So I did my dissertation here. I started working on Gomti. It was a 3 month dissertation time. I did some research on turtles of Gomti River. After that, completing my master's, I joined as a researcher in TSA India program. So now I'm working on Sarju and Bhagad River system in
Hmm.
Tarai,
Yes, and
mainly
with
doing study.
yeah, with Bhaskar ji.
Yeah, and Rishika Di and Armadi also.
Okay. So you are learning a lot.
Yeah, of course.
So,
In
so,
only
so,
1 year, I have learned so many things.
all of you, I have a simple question. Like most of us, I don't know, but most of us at one point of time, when I was young, there was, I still remember that turtles were bought by fishermen and we ate turtles, soft shell, when I was very young. So, any of you do have this experience of eating turtle at any point of time when you was young?
No.
So you are lucky. So, so, so,
Being a
so
Bengali also, I don't have.
yeah. So Bengalis are like, that they, anything which is in water, they want to have it. So I'll go back to Arunima and ask her a bit about field experience. Like I see you lots in the mud. कीचड़ में मैंने देखा है. You are in mud and doing this and that. So tell me a bit about your field experience and how challenging is it, and what is the best part of it?
Okay, so first we'll go with my best experience in the field. So I think it's always when I go on the river, so I feel really happy, and I love working more into the field rather working in the office and
Hmm.
writing anything.
Hmm.
So yeah, and so generally I enjoy doing the sampling, turtle sampling in the evening sessions, like doing the mark recapture studies in the evening. But yeah, it's like the where we work. So there is like one temple and
Hmm.
one side. So we sit there and we do our studies over there. So it's a beautiful place and we really enjoy that. Like I and Rishika together work like about 2 years in the field,
Hmm.
the sampling work, and we have done like 2 river surveys also. So
Hmm.
one Sumli and one this Sarju River survey,
Hmm.
and that was in May,
Hmm.
and it was really hot, like 40 to 45 degrees centigrades.
Hmm.
And we have also sometime we have stayed night along
Hmm.
the river, and
Hmm.
sometime we have stayed in villagers houses also,
Hmm.
and we have slept together in one cart, and it was just amazing experience. Whole night I was sleeping and Rishika was struggling like how to sleep because I was completely fine. And
कार्ट
yeah.
मतलब समझा नहीं. बुलक कार्ट.
No, the cart,
कार्ट.
charpai,
चार पाई. हाँ
charpai.
हाँ. अच्छा अच्छा. बेड. ओके ओके.
Yeah,
या.
yeah,
हाँ. तो
yeah.
मेरा इंग्लिश थोड़ा खराब है. Anyway.
So the one small this thing, and we were like, yeah. And even after that, like when I was doing Sarju survey, so I remember like it was quite late. So
Hmm. Hmm.
our field assistant said his relative should be nearby, and we went to that house, and I found like there was 2 3 people who was just drunk and outside, like just
Hmm.
talking random. And then I went to his house, and
Hmm.
there was about 3 4 kids. And in, I don't know why, but in Behraij district where we work, so everyone have like more than 6 kids. So
Okay.
every houses we like faces same thing. So sometime we have like I and Rishika discussed like how we can work on the population control in this, like along with the turtle, increasing the turtle population, we can work something on the controlling the population.
So you want to come to an
Even
average.
yeah.
Average. Yeah.
So we have developed one slogan also, which we can't like tell here,
Okay.
Rishika. But
You can tell me on the offline. So
yeah,
so
that we can do that. So
yeah.
it's always like whenever I go in field, it's always like amazing experience in the field. And just I love rivers and turtles. So whenever I do especially surveys, so it's always new experience. And when we see the new species when I rediscovered Nilsonia hurum in the Gomti River in the Lucknow, nearby Lucknow, and Hardela, when I found Hardela, which is like, I feel it's my species. So yeah, so I was just like really happy. So it doesn't matter what are the
Hardship.
situations, like, yeah, hard situation, but yeah, it's always like end of the day it's satisfactory and
So
it's good.
I will discuss with you regarding a very interesting thing about the babies or eggs of Hardella. That
Yeah.
So that is a very novel thing for me because I have not seen if they lay egg inside water, that I have heard. So
Yeah.
that we need to discuss because that is very interesting, because for all other turtles we are like trying to keep them dry as or moist, but not too much water because they will go rotten in too much water. But how Hardella does all this thing is a very interesting thing to discuss. So
Yeah.
so I'll go to Rishika and I'll ask her this time to, apart from the field experience that already Arunima told me that the field experience. So can you add to that field experience anything that you want to add?
The first thing I'm going to add is a clarification of that Charpai story. And the reason why she was fast asleep and I wasn't was because she kept elbowing me in the face.
So that's a good technique. That's a good
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah, but that was a really fun survey. That was I mean, the places we slept every single night was just something different, and we just look at each other and be like, where are we? How have we ended up here? But that's the fun of field work. So I think probably my worst
कभी
experience is sorry, but
कभी
sorry.
कभी ऐसा नहीं लगा कि कहाँ फंस गए यार?
बट वही तो फील्ड का मजा है, कहीं फंस जाना है, ऑफिस में नहीं बैठना.
So this is great.
Yeah,
and
so
then
I'll
yeah, continue.
yeah, sorry. So, no, I'll agree with that. That like fieldwork is probably the best part. I mean, the worst experience for me, I wouldn't really say was related to fieldwork. I just really had a bad fever in the field, so I was just miserable, and it was really hot in the summertime, so we had to field. So I mean, Aru and Shiparna know because I complained so much because I had a fever, and I was just like, I don't want to be here. I hate it. It's so hot. But it was only because I was sick, and not, otherwise I'm in the same conditions, and I'm still enjoying field work. And I think my favorite moment is again sort of when we see something interesting, or because we do. Mark recapture sampling. So a lot of it is such repetitive work. So 5 days straight, you're doing the same thing. You're sampling the same animals, releasing, counting, measuring. You're doing repetitive work, so it gets a little boring. But when you get something interesting, so I think in 2017, maybe, I don't know if Aru might be able to correct me, but we caught a chitra in Sarju River. And it's the only time in the last 3 years that we've caught it. So that's been a special one. And then I like it. So about 3 times we've had Morenia as well. So Morenia petersi, Indian eyed turtle. And I have some really good pictures of that. So that one was good as well. We got so our field assistant gets super excited when he sees something. And every time, like, so sometimes when we're not at the field, we go walk off somewhere, look for something. We come back and he's just like, Didi mithai khilai do, and we know he's got something good then.
Can you repeat Didi?
He's like, Didi mithai khilai do. He's like, when my field assistant asks for mithai, he's like, he's got something good.
Very nice. So mithai to any time खिलाएंगे हम.
Anytime.
और कछुआ लाओ. So
Yeah.
so
But
once you
release
were
back.
Yeah, I know. But as you were saying about your field experience and your fever, I saw Sriparna and Arunima were smiling. So I'll go to Sriparna straight away, and I will like to ask her, okay, what was that thing that made her or provoked her to smile?
Okay, so that day was my first time in the field. I had went with Adu Didi and Rishika Didi, and they went with me for like a kind of orientation to show me the field site and the field assistant. And that day we ended up in a village wedding, which was like 200 kilometers from our field site. But Arunima Didi went on driving and driving and driving the whole night, and Rishika Didi had a high fever. But we ended up like about 1 o'clock in the night in that wedding, and she was like furious. Why we are going? Why we are going? But we need to come to that side. Our main reason to go to that wedding was to like we have to stay there. That was the main reason, and she was like badly furious, like why at this night you're going to a wedding. So like that was one of a kind experience we had.
So she was like totally like out of her grooves. Like, so I can understand. Fever होगा तो ऐसा तो होना ही है. So there are lots of stories also because Shailendra explained some of the in other episode that we did. He explained some of the very interesting stories of Manipur and
Yeah.
what happened with him. And he explained something where he was stuck in the mud in Sundarban, I suppose, or somewhere where tiger sound was there, and so on and so forth. So in between, I'll move on to Rashmi, and I'll ask a very brief experience of her regarding the like. Have you been to the field, Rashmi?
I have been for the education program, not for basically for science study, but I was
See,
involved with the education
the aquatic
program,
school.
mostly education.
The aquatic.
Not there, but like some kind of like World Turtle Day, Wetland Day, and these kind of programs.
कीचड़
And
में उतरना नहीं पड़ा.
कीचड़ में तो नहीं उतरना पड़ा, but yes, if I will get a chance, then I will surely go in the कीचड़.
Oh, so please, Arunima.
It's a like, no, it's a great experience to go in the field and do something for wildlife and everything. matlab, It's like for the environment and wildlife, we should do something, and I think the team is doing very great work.
So always I always say that कि वाइल्ड लाइफ के लिए कुछ करना जरूरी था ही नहीं, क्योंकि हम लोग अगर कुछ ना करते वो अच्छा रहता. लेकिन हम लोगों ने इतना, हाँ, हम लोगों ने इतना नेगेटिव कर लिया है, तो अभी कुछ पॉजिटिव करके फिर जीरो में लाना है. So our main thing is to bring balance. Correct. So Arunima, so I'll go back to you क्योंकि you were also smiling, and I need a small input from you regarding Rishika's fever.
So yeah, it was just like amazing. I can't explain that moment because we thought we'll not go, but we supposed to like stay in that house, and it was the wedding of that boy, and we didn't know that where like we were going to bride's house, so where was the actual function. So we didn't know. I even didn't ask like where to go. They said it's nearby. So I thought, okay,
200
we'll go
kilometer
there.
nearby.
They said from their house it will be nearby. I thought, okay, it's fine. And I have not told anyone, even Bhaskar ji, Shaya sir, no one knew that about that story. And it was midnight. So we have started 6-7 o'clock, and it was I was driving and driving. So, and in between I thought we should go back, but it was like, and we were just going along the bandha, you say, like just near to the ye river ke kinare wo bandha hota hai. So we were driving over there, and these girls were like, and Shipanna was mainly curious about the mutton. So she was thinking she will be getting some mutton over there, and when we so yeah, and best part, as soon as we reached there, and Rishika found one on the roof there was one bedding, and she slept there directly, and I and Shipanna was dancing so in the wedding. So, and after that, when she saw us, we are dancing, and she started crying, and we were just like looking each other, what's happening? So it was just like
It was
amazing
so
wedding,
so
like our life's best
wedding.
wedding ever.
अपने शादी से भी ये शादी ज्यादा याद रहेगा.
Yeah, it was more
So
exciting and adventurous. Yeah.
tell me one thing that I heard, like from many, like at least one from Rajiv Basumatari, that you are a dangerous driver.
Oh, okay. That these guys can tell, but yeah. No, it's
Y-
not like that. But
uh,
the traffic of UP and especially the Lucknow, if you like just keep following all the rules and all that, then you can't cross the road. Many people say you can, like, maybe Lonnie will be live and he know all. Everyone experience my drive. So if you'll come Lucknow, then I'll you
uh,
can
uh, and
come
also
along. I will
Shailendra
show you all the Lucknow.
Shailendra also said कि मुझे वो टुंडे कबाब कुछ ऐसा something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I need to go. So now I'll go to Rishika and discuss about the more serious thing, that about the kurma, because that is what today is all about. That very important app that has been developed, and that is important for most of us who are working with Turtle. So Rishika, can you just explain a bit about the whole concept?
So the whole concept was this idea of I don't, probably you have the same experience, but us as turtle biologists have this experience where people keep coming up to us. At first, it's one of two things: either they don't know anything about turtles at all,
Hmm.
or and then the moment they find out, they're like, "Oh, we didn't know. How do we get involved?"
Hmm.
And we didn't have any like sort of set up regimented program or anything specifically set up for these people from all different. You can have volunteers and volunteering programs, but that's again catered to very specific audiences like students and people who have that time to volunteer. But every day we were getting all these messages from people saying that how to get involved, so I managed the social media pages also for the TSA India program, and a lot of times I'm getting messages on Facebook and Instagram, and most commonly they are, how do I get involved, or I like what your program is doing. So that was one side of it, and then the second side was that, again, like I said before, that there's just such few people. As one person you can't cover all of India in even your entire, like, even if you manage to have like a 60-70 year career in total biology, you can't cover the entire country and survey every river and look at every talab and pond and and talk to every person and find out that what species are there, what species are not there, what's the distribution, are species going extinct, and places they've gone extinct, have they bounced back because the attention there has gone away because they went extinct in the first place. So all these factors, kind of, we wanted to put something together where all these interests can be brought in, and then that potential can be realized and converted into real data and science that can eventually inform us as to how to better cater our conservation strategy. So something, if I give a simple example of, Aru, I and Shiparna, we work on Sarju River, and we currently work on one site because that's where we've identified the main sort of Hardella population. And the largest one so far. And then, I think last year, me and Shipana found, like, Aru found a second site, and then me and Shipana started sampling over there. So you only have two sites along this one entire river. But with this app, everyone along the entire stretch of the, so roughly, 100-ish kilometer river, very tiny, small, slow flowing river, if you have one person every 10 feet and just using this app, someone or the other is going to be able to locate something. Maybe it's a population, maybe it's a species or something, even threats. So people can, so the app also has the ability to identify threats and what the type of threats that animals might face if they see something, illegal happening, or somebody catching turtles, or if they
Correct.
find an injured turtle, it's connected up to Google Maps, and it will be soon. So it's still under sort of development, but eventually we'll have it connected to Google Map with the nearest rescue centers, and then they can sort of get in touch with the actual experts. And there's a format to get contact through the app as well. So we wanted to put two sides of it. So the science side of it, where we're there and we want to engage more with the public, but also the other side where the public wants to engage more with us. And this is just a really nice middle ground for everyone to come together in one place.
So as I just see your app,
Yeah.
and I'll try to show people as well.
So I like to say at this point, it's not just my app, it's everyone's app. Everyone here on this call and everyone else who's not on this call has worked very, very hard on this, and some very sleepless nights on this. I want to thank everyone that sort of worked together. So, all the emails that went out, all the discussions and everything. So it was a really huge collaborative effort on everyone's part.
Yeah, so I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so I just wanted to show the app, but there is some problem, I think, for which it did not load. So as I read the app, or as I see the app, it shows that it is a paid app, right?
No.
So
It's a free app.
it's a free app, right? So I have
Yeah. But
so,
right now, again, it's still under construction, so it is launched, but there's still sort of under development, and updates are still coming up. So in the middle of updates, then it might not be loading.
So tell me, just before we move on to and discuss with others, that what are the, because you have seen the app, so what are the for a common person, for anyone, what are the points that they can update or entry there? What would be the panel like?
So panel would be, so there's one panel which we have is, so you can ID your turtle. So that's an entire comprehensive guide that gives you all the information for all 29 species of turtles and tortoises found in India. So you can get things like their conservation statuses, so IUCN status, Indian Wildlife Protection Act status, the threats that they face. I think Aru's trying to kind of show it up somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just, you talk through and I'll see Aru's thing.
So I think,
show Arunima, show. Yeah. Tell me, Rishika, tell me.
I think if you bring it a little bit, so there's an ID a turtle section where you can kind of, that's the ID guide, which will have all this information. So it has photographs, it has ID features, the maps, which are sort of, just to give an idea, like they're not fully sort of scientifically accurate maps or anything, but they're just to give a general person an idea that, if they somehow somebody.
So Rishika, can you just, I just want Arunima to brighten up her mobile screen. Can you just brighten up so that it becomes easier for us to see? Yeah, now it is much better. And I'll just go to Arunima, and you can show us. And Rishika, you can just go through the things.
Yeah, so I think we might have to bring it a little closer.
I think it might be needed to bring little closer. Yeah. It's much better.
Yeah. There. So. So I think she's so she's scrolling through. So she's clicked on a species now. So that's the Indian so black softshell turtle, or so nigricans, and then you can just scroll up. All that information, like things like morphology and nesting seasons and all. I mean, we try to make it so that it's applicable to both everyday people who are not familiar with turtles, but also turtle biologists who would like to use it as a field. And one of the good options that we have in there is you can use the guide offline as well. So you don't have to have an internet connection. So if you're out in the field somewhere, on the river or something, and you don't have, so there is an offline option for that. So and then eventually the hope is that once so I'll get to the hope bit later, because that's with the second. So the second section is to report a turtle.
Ah.
So so it's either, so you wanna, I don't know, I think so it's a record a turtle section
So
where
I
you can
think Arunima, your the screen is not getting quality shots because of the lens
the
thing.
brightness.
So yeah, brightness. So anyway,
I'm
I'll
gonna
try
try
to.
and see if I can show it on mine.
Okay. Yes,
Can you see
it's
that?
better. It's better. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is better. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you have is, I can't, oops. Okay. Oh, I did go. So it's the idea turtle section,
Huh.
and then this is the entire, so you have it as all, and then hard shell, soft shell tortoises, and you can just go through all the species there. So something like
I see. I see. I
that.
see.
And then you got Cura, so you got, sorry. Ooh, yeah, that might be better. And you've got the statuses, so the common names, morphology, and all of that. You've got map right at the bottom to just give you
Beautiful.
a rough idea
Beautiful. Yes.
where you get them. And then that the option for that can also be used offline. So there is an option in the corner. Oh, there. I don't
Yeah.
know if you can read that. So you can say you
Yes.
can make it offline as well. And
Okay.
then so the other tab is report a turtle. So
Yes.
this, you would take a picture and then you would
Okay.
upload it. So if I just do a little bit of an example, let's see if it works. So
Yeah.
right now, all right, I have to pick a camera. So I'm just sort of picking the camera option, and I'm going to try and see and then take a picture.
So what you can do
Something.
is Rishika,
Yeah.
what you can do is so you are talking through laptop, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do is, or Arunima, as we talk, I'll go back to Arunima as you can as you
Okay.
talk. What you can do is the link that I have given to you. You can log in
Yeah.
again through your mobile.
Okay.
If you log in
Right.
through
Okay.
mobile, you can share the screen through your from your mobile, so
Okay.
that if you can share the
Right.
screen, you
Right.
will see the app on the screen itself. So it would be very easy. So I'll just you take time and try to figure out that, and in between I'll
Okay.
go
Sure.
again. So I'll again go to Rashmi.
Yes.
So Rashmi, so as we have discussed little bit about about turtle and all the things, and since you are looking into administration a bit little different from the biological aspect, so you are the most important person for me in context of the whole debate or talk, because these other ladies, they are already interested in the field. So it is like a religion. It is like a networking. So if these people can make you join their network and do the things that you actually never thought of doing, then the whole dream is, then the whole thing has come and it has been a successful initiative. Because those who are interested, they are interested. But those who are from non-allied field, to bring them and get them initiated are motivated, that is the most important thing. So tell me, Rashmi, which is the species of turtle that by far now, the by far of all the species you like the most or you know the most, but every time you see, you can identify that turtle.
I can identify Batagur Kachuga because I
Okay.
went for the first time in Chambal for the
Huh.
education program.
Huh.
So I can identify that turtle, and it would be great if I get a chance to work on it. But I know this is like I have a huge work of administration. I will never get chance to go in the field and do something about.
Hmm.
So it's unfortunately I have never got a chance to work in the field like in biologist. But yes, not biologist, but I'm fine with the education thing. And if they
Education is,
can, they already dragged me in the education work, and it's a big of like you can say for them from non you can say wildlife or you can say biologists, they have dragged me to an educator. That is like different thing they have changed because
so,
before that I was just involved in the office work, and I have never been to like in such fields. I've done some kind of programs during graduation, but it was not wholesale work, which I have got exposure here, and I think I may continue and I'll get more exposure.
Rashmi, are you liking it?
Yeah, it's like it has been nearly about 1.5 years, and it is like great, and everyone is very great. I'm grateful to everyone. Like everybody has taught something. I have learned everything from each and everyone here. Like you can say, even the younger people have like that capacity to teach me every day. Every day I learn a new thing from everyone. So it is like a great learning from me since from 1.5 years, and I'll continue to learn more. And
Great.
if I'll really get a chance,
So educators are the base.
sorry.
Educators are the base.
Mm-hmm.
So biologists will be biologists through an educator. So you are actually doing something like, I always believe that doctors have their logo, engineers also have their logo, CA also have their logo, so lawyers have their logo. I think for a teacher, all the logo are applicable. A teacher
Yeah,
can put a doctor's logo, engineer's logo, because it is the teacher who made them what they are today. So you are doing a brilliant work in the field of teaching is the most important thing. So I hope you will continue doing so.
yeah. It is like as I told you, it was like it is grateful time I have been here, and I want to continue it more. And it is like good opportunity to become a motivator and motivate others by doing so.
Great. So I will go to, I suddenly I saw that we have two Rishikas, but it is
To
not like
Rishika's.
that. It's like she has logged in through mobile. So if she can just go through mobile and go through that app. Yes, Rishika, wait. I am just clearing off your mic. Yes, Rishika, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm not really seeing the option to share screen anywhere. I've been trying to figure that out.
It's not there?
No.
So
So I
maybe
can
not.
only
And leave it then,
yeah.
because it's only, I think, available if you are doing on laptop anyway. So
May-
yes, so suddenly Sriparna has gone. Our
So
network maybe with some problem. So okay, so I'll come back to Rishika.
yeah.
But we are at the last leg of the discussion, and we will go to Arunima for the last time in this session, not last time for ever, but last time in this session, and ask her that a species conservation, that is a serious thing that you are doing, like many of you are trying to bring a species out of brink of extinction, because it's a great. So tell me like at the end of the day, after going through the hardship, or some after doing a lot of accommodation, when you see that your turtles are laying eggs, or babies are hatching out of the eggs, and also you need to tell me about the hardela egg in between. So tell me, what is that feeling?
Okay, so yeah, I'm working at Kukrel Gharial Rehabilitation Center, and we're like about 13 species of turtles, which we are working for the conservation breeding program, and especially there are few are really threatened, like Batagur kachuga, Chitra indica, and Hardella thurgi, and there are many other species like Geoclemis hamiltoni. And luckily, I got the chance to work on them, and we have since the time I'm working, so we have I have incubated them and hatched them. So it's really when these babies hatch and we kept them for the incubation, and when the time of the hatching, so I always feel like when they, like now it's the time to hatch Hardella babies and our Batagur hatchlings and Geoclamis. So it's the main time of the hatching for all the hardshell turtles, and even the so it's like yeah, I feel it, these all are my babies. So first time it was very hard to release back into the wild, because I recognize all, like most of my hatchlings whatever we hatch there, and when we release back into the wild, it's very tough for me to release back into the wild. But yeah, it's when I feel them, even when I feel them releasing into the wild and they are swimming freely into the wild, and it's also just amazing experience. It's very difficult for me to explain it.
So,
Yeah. And
did
in
you
between that, yeah.
did you at one point of time, any point of time, think of you being the Amresh Puri releasing the Simran to Shah Rukh Khan? Ja beti ja.
Yeah, always, like when not particularly this, but yeah, it's just
I can
really,
understand. I was just kidding, but also just tell me a little bit about the
but not
Hardela.
this Ja Simran Ja dialogue. I have,
You have? I
yeah,
cannot
I'm
hear.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so can you?
I think I lost you. Yeah.
I'm there. So can you just tell me a little bit about, very briefly about Hardela eggs, like they are, because they are laid inside the water, and how can they survive inside water? For other turtles, the water is one of the most important key, like the moderate, the optimum moisture. But how Hardela is doing that?
So yeah, I'm still working, still trying to understand that. So it's been about 3 and 4 years. We are working on the nesting ecology of the Hardella. So I have never like really found the eggs into the wild, into the water. But in the captivity, we have found nesting these Hardella into the water only. So still, I'm not 100% sure they are. Majorly like water, they lay nest into the water. But what is my feeling during the all the survey with the fishermen, asking, doing the questionnaire survey with the fishermen, so what I feel like, they nest during the monsoon, after just monsoon, and when the water recedes, so the nests come up, and after, like when after that they go for the diapers during the winters, mm, and after that in May, it takes like 9 months to hatch these babies, because they go for the diapers. So but I was wondering, like if they drop eggs like into the water, and when the water recedes, so might be there are lots of predators will be attracting, like if it's like they are not digging anything, digging into the water, because in the water if they will be laying, it will be just like dropping the eggs into the, and I have found multiple clutching into the Hardella, because I have never found like they nest once only directly, like once only, because I have found like they have in captivity they have nested like 2-3 eggs one day, and after 5-10 days there are more eggs and like that. So it's still like I'm trying to understand like what happening, because I've tried radio transmitters also onto the Hardella females, gravid females, but unfortunately I didn't found anything interesting. But maybe very soon we'll be finding some
Yeah,
interesting
sure,
fact about
sure.
this really interesting females,
So
like from
it's
this
really.
interesting species. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is really interesting. So I wish you all the best that you will get that one day, and
Thank you.
sooner than later. So Rishika, before we move on and wrap up this whole program, just tell me, like, almost a similar question, because it's a very valid question to women, because as I said already, that the philosophical or the emotional angle associated. So, how did you feel like when you see that the main reason that all of us or you people are working is to conserve a species, and reproduction is one of the key to conserve a species, and you are many of us are contributing in a different way, so that at the end of the day there is a reproductive success. So once you see the eggs hatched and babies coming out, so what is your feeling to that?
I think so. I've not ever seen like an actual hatchling coming out of the egg as yet. So I haven't been at that stage. So I've been when they've sort of emerged out of the sand in Chambal when they nest. So that's probably the closest I've gotten to being like at the moment of birth. But I think that moment for a lot of, I don't know, for other turtle biologists, maybe for me, it's such a difficult field because everywhere it's always so negative and cynical, and everything's sort of so much trade and so much sort of habitat destruction and hunting. And so it's always sort of doom and gloom, and you always feel bad that whatever you're doing, like you save one, but the next you hear next day 10 more are dead. So it's always, you're always fighting like such big numbers when you're working with freshwater turtles and the threats that they face. I think all of that can make any scientist very sort of sad and dejected and almost sort of give up or feel like giving up. But I think when you sort of eventually see that success of a program working, a conservation action working, all these hatchlings coming out, going back into the river, I think that one scene really helps to put hope back into the whole process and inspire you that no, we can still do this. Like all these babies, they're going out, they have to survive, and they have to sort of go back, survive for the next 10-15 years, reproduce again, and we'll keep doing this for the next 10-15 years.
Great. So, as you say, you are committed at least for next 10-15 years. So we are looking into a bright future for turtle conservation, because the problem is that many researchers join the force, but they do not stay onto the force, and they get
it's
out.
it's it's a tough field. So I mean, if any sort of non-conservationists are watching, I would say that everyone sort of always, I mean, we've had these discussions a lot also with sort of Shaisar and all that. It's a tough field, and sometimes you really feel like you're not doing anything, and everyone gets swept up with the glamour of it. But it is a tough field. But at the end of it, the rewards are like just as good. So I think it's worth it.
So you touched a very sensitive point that I love. It's like the glamour associated with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I see there are many wildlife. So I always joke, to be an wildlife expert, first you need to, if you are a boy or a man, you first need to, you have to grow your hair so that you can have a ponytail or something, or maybe the lock. The better, if you have the best conservationist, if you are, you have to have locks in your hair. So you see, you have said the right point. It's hard to believe that a normal guy can be also be a conservationist. It's just a job that people are doing their job, like somebody is doing their job in the office like a clerk. So a conservationist is also doing his or her job. So it's just that. So I feel it in that way. And on that note, I'll go to Rashmi, and but that this time I'll go to Sriparna first, because she went out for some time, maybe some technical difficulty, and ask her a bit about what she thinks, if I can unmute her mic. But I don't know. Cannot unmute because the guest. Sriparna, you need to unmute your mic. There in the left side, if you have a mic symbol, you have to unmute it. Yeah, I can hear you. She went out. So Rashmi, I'll go to you. Rashmi's mic is also turned off. You just need to click in the left side.
It's not
Yeah.
unmute.
Good. Very fast. So Rashmi, tell me, when you hear that all from others, even if you have not visited the field, that there are turtle hatchlings, so and so number of turtle have hatched, and so what is your honest, being an admin, your opinion counts for me the most, because from non-allied field जहाँ पे आपको हिसाब करना पड़ता है, so वहाँ पे you have to devote towards turtle well-being directly is a great feat. So what do you feel when you hear news of new babies being born, and how does it affect you?
Actually, on the same day, today I was in Chambal before 1 year. So
Okay.
this day is like for me, I have seen for the first time I've seen that hatchling, and it was like great experience. And it is like you have done something, you have given something, and now you're getting the fruits of whatever you have done. So
Just you
and
cannot eat
whenever
the food.
no, we cannot eat the food.
Yeah.
It's like
But,
yeah, fruit for what you have done. Actually, you're successful fruit. That's it.
yes, yes,
And then
yes.
you can see the way they goes to back to the river.
Okay.
You can say that feeling you cannot. Nobody, nothing can be compared to that feeling. And at that time when I saw, it was for me when I was uh, looking that turtle, like it was the kachuga only, and it was like when I took the hatchling, for me for first time I was like kind of fearful, like I will dance, do something, or I might cannot hold it, and it can like go somewhere else, something like that was going in my mind. So and then that project officer, Pawan, he came and he said, "You can take that thing. It is not a thing, but it's an animal. You can take that thing. You're like you're just fearful. It will not do anything to you." But for me, I said, "No, it's not. It cannot do anything for me. But for me, it's like something else. I might
Hard.
cannot hold it, and it might fell down or something can happen." He said, "No. You have learned everything, and now you can do that." At that time, the uh, the way he gave to me and the thing, the feeling you can say, he narrated me everything, how they do hatchling and how they do the nesting and everything. So at that time, you can say it is different feeling from others. And I'm being a non-professional in the field of conservation. It is like something else. You are learning on on that day.
Right.
So
So it's really, really,
I can say
it's a nice feeling, because you have an additional excitement apart from when your bill matches, that is
yes.
an excitement, but this is your additional excitement seeing release turtle being released into the wild. So on that note, I'll go to Shriparna and ask her, because Shriparna was on and off because of some network problem, I believe. So Shriparna, I was asking everyone that once you are releasing turtle into the wild, so what is your experience? Like, how did you feel once you are releasing the
I
turtle?
can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can
But
you hear
how will
me?
you
I
know
can't
that
hear
if I
you.
can?
I can't hear anyone.
Okay. I'll try to sort out. Maybe some network problem in your side.
Hello?
Even if I say hello, you won't be able to hear. So it's no use saying hello to you. So anyway, she may join us back. So I think that we have a really great time, that we discussed lots of things that we did. So at the end of the program, Rashmi can also unmute the mic. Yeah, Rashmi is back. So Sriparna is also back.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can ask me a question, please. Anybody can ask.
You ask you asked all of us that how you feel when you release a turtle. Now, like we all wanted to know how you like for you. What is that feeling when you release a turtle?
Uh, it's a
I've been
very
to your
different.
stories of Nashik and everything.
So
I have
so all
seen.
yes, mic फिर off हो गया. You have
No, go
unmute your.
on, go on, go on.
Uh, so the my feeling is very neutral. So when it was very initially, I'll be very practical and I'll say the what I feel. I As long as the turtles, when I the hardest part for me is not the release or not the egg laying. The hardest part for me is from the hatchling to till they get to a certain age that they are ready to release. When they are ready to release, I'm so relieved that I am happy to see them go. I am happy to see them go because it's hard to see them die because mortality in hatchlings are there. So, like if they are like
Especially soft shell turtles. Yeah.
soft shell turtle, so once they are like
I can
70,
get your feeling.
so once they are 70 turtle,
Yeah. I think you have muted your. We can't
Your
listen.
mic.
I did unmute. So when I release them, so when I bought like 70 hatchling, so I keep them and we keep them for 60, 70 days depending on the season. So once you have kept them and once you see the next day or 10, 15 days later, you see that we keep on counting them, but we keep in big drums where they water hyacinth filled with water hyacinth and water. So you cannot really see the turtles except the one which are sitting on the water hyacinth. So you have to just put your hand and feel, and suddenly you feel it's a worse feeling that you just putting your hand and feel a turtle which is not moving. So you still have the hope that he is like too lazy. And then you bring out, and the worst thing is that if you see the neck dangling,
Yeah.
that is the worst thing I see is the dangling of the neck. When you bring it out and you see the neck is dangling, so it's done. So that feeling is like, no, you
Yeah.
are trying to do something, but these see these are the things that sometimes, really, if you have continuously 3 days, like 2 3 every day dying, then
Yeah.
at fourth day, I don't know about how strong you people are, but for me it like I should leave that job and go to some company and start working. So it's such desperate sometimes. So it's bad, it's a bad feeling. so
I
so yeah.
agree because it's have sometimes, especially with the chitra, so it's very difficult to rear them into the captivity, and the highest hatching success we found 50%. Apart from that, most of the time, like it was really bad hatching success. So sorry, rearing success of the, especially they had just before the winters, and keeping them during the winters, and it's high mortality all time, like in like 2 3 times we have tried rearing of the chitra. So it's very difficult when you see like every day the same thing happen with me, but not, I don't feel like that I will quit, but I always feel no, one day will be like I'll resolve all these problems, and one day
so
we'll be
so
getting really good success rate of the rearing of these beautiful creatures. Yeah.
so there my fickle mind helps me because I do not plan anything for sure. So come back and again forget everything what happened and go back and start working. Sriparna,
Yeah.
now you can hear and we can hear you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
sometime on a lighter note, sometime I find it very difficult. कोई फोन नहीं पकड़ रहा है तो पहले कोई बोलता है हेलो हेलो हेलो, वो जैसे पीच बदलने से सुन जाएगा, वो कैसे सुनेगा पीच बदलने से जब सुना ही नहीं है. So Siparna, tell me like what is your inner feeling when you see babies or turtle hatchling doing well or being released? What do you feel?
Uh, so whenever I see a baby turtle or a hatchling, mainly I feel it in pickerel only. So that feeling is really awesome.
Okay.
So it's like out of the heaven feeling, that cuteness and like that small thing, that endangered and the most threatened thing. That is the most wonderful feeling ever.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
so for example, if the turtle is not threatened, like Lysamis, you don't feel that feeling.
No. I think I am more concerned about listener,
So
and I am more concerned about Lishmi seeing the number now, and it's least concern. So, but they are most in trade, and I think if this goes on, like they will also enter into the endangered thing by about a year or two. I think we should concentrate on saving the Lishmis now,
okay, sure.
because
This is
for
a
the
very
few
good.
years we are seeing Lishmis most in the trade.
So it's like we are waiting them for
I think we
becoming
need to save
threatened,
them.
and then we'll start working. And that is a very bad mindset for many of Indian researchers, that we are waiting for them to go. But what to do? We are so many in number
We don't
that
have funding and no,
that
like
is
all
that,
the there are uh, if we see we say like we there is these many turtles were rescued there and they are just not threatened like other species like kachuga and critically endangered or endangered, so we don't get funds for that also, so it's very difficult for us also to help those animals to help all the species and work on them, so it's that's why.
so thank you all of you, and we really had a great time. I hope you enjoyed as well as I did, and
Very
all the
much
best.
so.
So, and so all the best to the women force of TSA. Sriparna, wait, I'll just join Sriparna before we say goodbye. So, Sriparna is like tube light, coming and going, coming and going. So, so anyway, so we are just wrapping up the whole thing, and thank you all of you, the ladies or the women force of Turtle Survival Alliance India. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you so much for protecting an animal which really needs protection. And I hope you continue doing your good work, and all the best. And I hope next Turtle Day, on the same day, we come up with a even better story and with a positive news. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So bane raho, you people stay back. I will end the live broadcast.
Okay.
Okay.